Hello and welcome to Noninkables. We are on episode number 29. I did not make one last week just because we were super busy, and I actually did record like an unboxing of an Inklands box, but then I used my phone that doesn't actually record, so there was no audio. So because of that, there is a lot to talk about. So this weekend, Set 6 release, so as I see, we spent the weekend at Disneyland. So we bought boxes there. We took our business picking up my daughter from, she'd been at my parents' place in Vegas, having the time of her life. I'm so jealous of her life. She basically got to go to the park every day and then go swimming and then go to circus and play a carnival game, the aquarium. And then they took her to like an indoor playground, which she really liked. So we picked her up from there and then went to Disneyland. And so we got there Thursday night. And then Thursday night, I went to Pin Traders because that's where they say the cards are sold. And I asked the person, I was like, hey, are you guys going to have Set 6 Lorcana cards tomorrow, like the Disney trading card game? And the guy just looked at me and was like, I don't know about. And I was like, is that a joke? And he just stared at me. And then the other person working there just stared at me. And I was like, okay, this is very awkward. And I left. And like, I was like, okay, I kind of feel like I'm going to cry, but whatever. That was really weird. Turns out it was sold there. I was like, usually Disney, I feel like you ask them, and if they don't know the answer, like, oh, can you tell me more about this? Or like, hey, let me ask someone who might know. They ask follow-up questions. Also, like they were standing right next to a bunch of Lorcana merch from Set 5. So based on what some of our friends had told us, like, I guess they didn't do very much marketing in terms of like the cast members and stuff. And so a lot of the cast members didn't know about Lorcana, although I have seen more marketing from Lorcana in terms of like YouTube videos and like Instagram ads. And so it was sold. And then we went, so Pin Traders opens at 9. So we went to Pin Traders at like 8:30 and they were already selling a Set 6. So we bought, the max was 1 booster box and then 5 packs, like individual packs. So we each bought a booster box and then 5 individual packs. And then they were like, well, like there's not really a line. You could probably just come back in like 15 minutes and then buy another pack of booster box. And I totally forgot like prior to this, I was like, oh, we can bring our daughter and then she can count as an extra person. We can buy more cards. I totally forgot about it. So we didn't even utilize that. So we got the cards, dropped them off at the hotel and then just went to Disneyland and had a blast. She's at that age where she like hugs all the characters. So it's super cute. But she also like hugs them and she's done and she goes, bye. Which is pretty funny. So we did Disneyland and then we got home at nighttime. I opened the cards. I was looking for Maui sharks. I wanted 3 of them and I got 2. So obviously on Saturday, I had to go back and buy more cards. So we bought 2 more boxes. Wait, did we buy those? I'm trying to remember if we bought them on Saturday, if we went back Friday night and bought them. I just remember we went to go buy them and there were only 3, I think it was Saturday. There were only 3 booster boxes left. And there was a guy there who was like on the phone with his friend and was like, hey, do you need the Elsa mat? And I guess his friend was like, no. And then he was like, oh, I guess then I don't really have anything to buy. Cause they had like the Elsa mat, the Donald Duck, all the other stuff. And then he saw us buy like 2 of the 3 booster boxes. I was going to buy all 3. And then Brian was like, no, there's a limit. You can only buy 2. I was like, but we have her. We have her daughter. That's the whole point of bringing it. Not really. He's like, no, we should just buy 2. So we bought 2. And then the guy, I think, saw us buying them. And then so he was like, oh shit, I should buy the other box. And so he bought the 3rd box. And then in that box, I got my 3rd Maui shark. In the boxes that we opened the first night, Brian had a really weird box where like the numbers on the packs were different than the numbers on the box. And then he had like several packs that were missing like a couple common each. But they had the foils and they had like the rares and whatever. So like whatever. It's too much work to like document this and send them an email if they're just going to send us common cards. And so he didn't really need any cards for his deck. It was me. Basically, I wanted Maui sharks and you came back. And so I got everything I needed. And then he pulled a Rafiki Enchanted. And he had been like, we were both opening packs kind of like separately. Like I was doing it on the table, he was doing it on the bed. And he was like, oh, my box sucks. Because he didn't get like any legendaries. And then I didn't really hear from him. And then at the end, he like handed me all his cards. And I'm going through them. I was like, you opened an enchanted, you didn't say anything. And then he had like all these legendaries. I guess from the second box, he didn't say anything. Wow. Okay. And so I had pre-ordered 2 boxes from my local game store that I'll pick up probably tomorrow. And then I also pre-ordered some boxes from a store in Canada that sells French cards, because last I had bought some Ursula return French cards from them, which I thought were fun. And I think Shimmering Skies, like 1 box of Ursula's return, 1 box of Shimmering Skies. And then I thought those cards were fun. So this time they were having kind of a sale. So I bought some Azurite Sea and I bought some Ursula return. And I feel like the French box was like, I've opened 2.5 boxes out of the case that I bought, and I feel like they're already better than the other ones. Like I got my Maui Sharks, I got a foil, you came back. I mainly wanted to get this card. There's Chippendale, but in French it's Tic Tac, which I think is so cute. Chippendale is also my new favorite characters at Disneyland because they're just hilarious. But I feel like the pack from the French pack had like way more good legendary cards, like the Simba, the Wreck-It Ralph, I just feel like there were more legendaries. I don't know. So yeah, we have a bunch of French cards. Oh, I pulled this Enchanted Captain Amelia. I like the look of the new Enchanteds. I think they look pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, they're not as like colorful as Shimmering Skies, obviously, but I think they look cool and they're like very distinct. And I definitely like them better than set 4 Ursula Return, like black background. Or at least, to me, more interesting than that. Yeah. So, okay. So that's our card opening. The store is now open again, the DCG Player Store. And so as I open more cards, I will be listing stuff. And so far, the only like extra we have that I listed was like a Sail the Azurite Sea, which I think has already been bought. So, but I listed other cards. I listed some foils and stuff that we aren't using. So check that out. It will be updated as I open cards. I'm not sure what to do with these French cards because I don't think there's a way to list French cards on TCG Player. So I think we'll just keep the French cards and maybe sell the English ones. I'm not sure yet. Because we were at Disneyland, we didn't get to play in any like sealed or like starter deck or like, release event type thing. So we haven't played sealed with these cards, but eventually, and I know I also have been slacking on the daily shorts, mainly because life has been busy and also I've been lazy. But I did record a bunch today of the French one. So I figured I'd do it'll be the same 2 a day, 1 in the morning-ish time and 1 in the evening-ish time. I think it's actually like 1 at midnight and 1 at 5 p.m. But 1 will be English and 1 will be French for now. The French will be Azurite Sea. And then maybe I'll also record the Ursula Return because I also bought a case of Ursula's Return. And then the English one will be probably set 1 through 5 because I still have videos for that I haven't posted. And also when we opened our English Azurite Sea at Disneyland, I didn't record anything because I was just like, where's my Maui Sharks? Where's my Maui Sharks? I need my Maui Sharks. If you guys don't know what card I'm talking about, it is this one. It's actually Maui Half Shark, which I feel like in the movie is more Maui Shark Head. Maybe a beauty influencer or something. Yeah, because that's in my deck. Okay, so in other Lorcana news, we haven't played in any competitions because all the competitions have been set 5 only, and we're solely focused on set 6 right now because Battle of the Bay is this weekend. I think last time I checked, they were up to like 102 people had signed up, which is crazy. It's a lot. And I think they changed locations. So now the location can hold up to 200 people, which is like a lot of people this is the first time they're putting on this event, which is very, very exciting. They are having Spessy and Rebecca come cast it. So it's going to be kind of like officially, I guess. And so let's see what else. So they're going to do Swiss. It's going to be 2 games. And then the number of rounds will depend on how many people. Currently, it's going to be 7 rounds to a top 8 top cut. You get 3 points per win and a bonus point if you 2-0 in a round. So similar to the DLC. And then the top cut will be best of 3. And then it's going to be set 1 through 6, which is super exciting. There's going to be like a ton of prizing. They got a lot of prizing donated. And some of the people who are running it also sponsor some of the events at Games of Berkeley that we played in, like one sealed, and they had like a raffle, and Brian got a gift card, which we still need to use. And then you could like spin a wheel to win like a pack or candy or whatever. So for this one, there's like a ton of prizing support. So throughout the game, there's going to be giveaway tickets that you get from winning games, and the giveaway, you can also get the tickets from spinning the prize wheel. You can also get them from participating in side events. And then these tickets will be used to enter a giveaway for a D23 gift box, like the D20 from this year with the like Oswald, Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, Ursula, and someone else, the other person. And then there's also going to be a consolation prize, which I think is awesome. So in their like press kit says like there will be a consolation prize for the 3 players who play all 9 rounds of Swiss and are in the bottom 3 places. And it doesn't say what it is, but there is a consolation prize. I think to encourage people to play in all of them. And then they also have a prize wheel where you can spin and you can win a scorebook. So they've given us those before. So it's similar to like the ones you get at the DLC, like in the DLC. It has like, and then you have like the 2 rows. They have versions of that. You can get a booster pack. You can get the pins. You could get an ink token. You could get another raffle ticket. You can get a candy bar. You can get stickers. So there's a bunch of stuff. And then their pricing, I think, is pretty good. So if you win first place in the main event, you get a case of set 6, which is woo. You get 3 set championship promos, so Stitch, Ursula, and Mirabelle. You get 20 tickets to win a D23, and you also get an MVP trophy. I'm all about the trophies. And then each one is less. So second place gets 2 boxes of set 6, and then 20 giveaway tickets. And then third and fourth get 1 box of set 6 and 20 giveaway tickets. Blah, 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 all the way down until 32nd place is the lowest, which is 1 pack of set 6 and then 5 giveaway tickets. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And they also have side events. So they have constructed 8-person pods, a single elimination best of 3, and you get a box for first place for $25, which is pretty good. There's also sealed. And then there's a couple stores that are sponsoring it. So there's like different tiers. So Gotta Have It tier. There's Green Potion Games, Salinas, Games of Berkeley, which I've been to, which I think the people who are running it are major members of 1990 something. I've not heard of. Insignia Productions, Take Refuge Studios, which I think is Tegan's. You know that Take Refuge Gaming is the name of her YouTube channel. So I assume that's her production company. And she's one of the people running it. And then Jesbian is also one of the Gotta Have It sponsors, and she is a real estate agent. And recently she sold a house to somebody, and they were at the seal that we were playing at, and as like a thank you, they got a case of Lord Con cards. And I was like, man, when we were buying another house, we could have Jesbian sell to us and we could get a case. But we're not in the market for another house. We're money for another house. And then in the Love It tier, so I kind of like that, kind of like Cold still reading one who has that tiering. Love It tier is NorCal TCG, which we played at. They recently moved their weekly tournament from Friday night to Saturday night. And they're up in, I think, Martinez. And then the Like It, there is the Launchpad in Lodi, which I've never been to. Because Lodi, I only know Lodi from like marching band. DVY Collectibles in Martinez, where we often go on Friday nights. Mirabolas Labs in Sacramento. Okay. Games Fortress in Nevada. Gold Star Games, Sacramento. Retro Edge Games in Vallejo. I've never been to Retro Edge Games, but I've only heard good things. And so there's like a ton of people going. I know that Ed's going. I think Judy and Edmund are going. Basically like a bunch of all the local peeps are going. From our team, me and Brian are going, and then Tyler is going. Gary, I think, has a lot of family stuff, so he's not going. But 3 out of the 4 members from the team are going. We're all playing different decks. We've all been cooking on our own. So Brian's been working on his blue steel. I've been working on my red green deck. And Tyler is going to play, I don't know. Last I talked to him, he was either going to play green steel, green purple, but not sure. And then there is like a pretty active, like part of the Discord channel that's basically just like trade buy sell, because it's at 6 and like it's hard to get all the cards together right now because you just have to buy the boxes and hope that your luck works out. We have a bunch of cards, but so I'm probably gonna see what people are looking for and post in there. Although some of my cards are in French, so if people are okay with French cards, I've got some French cards. I mean, they're technically illegal. It's just that you might have to look it up unless you can read French, which I cannot. Or you have to have your cards memorized and have the other person believe you. Or else it may happen to you what happened to me at one of the DLCs where someone said they were going to oracle my card, which basically just means look up what it means. But he was like, I'm going to oracle one of your cards. And I was like, okay, I don't know that maybe. Yeah. So, okay. So the deck that I've been working on is a red-green action. It is, how would I describe it? It's basically like utilizes that Robin Hood sharpshooter and obviously Valley Shark for actions. I feel like I change it constantly and I just keep making it worse because every time I play against like a different like deck or archetype or color combination, I'm like, oh, I really need this. And then I'll like make a little change and then it gets worse. So I started with like the standard, like Diablo, 1-drop, 3-drop, 2-drop Ursula, 4-drop Robin Hood, 5-drop Pete, and then 6-drop Maui Shark, and then like a bunch of actions, right? So I did that, and then I think at one point I thought, oh, I really wish Maui Shark had Rush. So then I tried to put in either Break Free, the action, where you get Rush and you deal 1 damage to your character, or Vitalosphere. And then at one point I tried someone's deck who had the Ursula Deceiver of All to double sync. And then I thought about doing like a Minnie Mouse Diver. So like Minnie Mouse always classy, shift into Minnie Mouse Diver. And then I was like, I feel like I need a way to protect my Robin Hood. So then I thought about putting in like Sherwood Forest. But then I was like, I don't think I should put in 4 Sherwood Forest. That seems like a lot. And so then I saw a deck that had like the islands I pulled from the sea. So you can go look for your Sherwood Forest. I was like, oh, maybe if I just play like a couple of those. And I think like based on the cards we open, I could make like any, I want to say I have 4 of everything. That's right. Let me just double check so that I'm not lying. But yeah, I think if I include my French cards, I probably have 4 of everything except for everything that could go in my red-green colors except for the Hercules, the legendary one. That's like a 6-cost uninkable ward 6/3. And you could pay 3 ink to deal 1 damage to chosen damage characters. So I think that card is great, especially not for my deck. And then maybe the Hades, which is a 5-cost uninkable 4/3. And basically you pay 3 and you do a Glimmer v Glimmer, which not great either. But I think everything else that I want to play in my deck, I could play based on what we've pulled. If I incorporate the French cards, and I'm not even done open. I still have like 1.5 more boxes to open. So not limited in that. It's just kind of figuring out what the correct combo is. So I've been practicing. I usually will, once I make it like a little change, I'll run it on Ink Table just because it's fast. And then I'll usually run it against like Hyper Aggro first, because I feel like Ink Table is pretty good at piloting that deck. And then I'll run it against there's like yellow, purple aggro, there's green, purple aggro. I'll run it against, sometimes I'll do it against that locations aggro, that's like Amber Steel, just to see. Yeah. And then I'll play it on Lord Nito and just usually cry because someone's done something that I haven't tried yet. So I think this week I really need to actually test in a more controlled manner against different colors and different types of decks. I think in our local area, at least the people who played this past weekend, I think there was a constructed that Brian went to 2 weekends ago. It was still set 5, but the meta had changed and a lot of people were playing that red purple burn. And so I think with set 6, they just made some edits and a lot of people are playing that. And then I don't know what anyone's playing really. It's kind of hard. I mean, now that the Arcana Cross Continental challenges have started, that maybe will help. I feel like people are going to look at that and see who wins and then play those decks. So for example, today we watched Dale versus Spessy. So Spessy played a purple steel aggro-ish, but also had some not aggro cards in it, like Elsa and Queen's Castle. And then Dale played like an emerald steel discard. So we watched that. Spessy ended up winning like very narrowly. I think Dale needed like one, if he had quested one more time with one of his characters in the prior turn, he would have won. So it was like a very close match, but I feel like a lot of people will probably play that purple steel deck. So we finished watching that and I immediately was like, okay, let me just run this real quick on Inktable against purple steel on the draw and see how I do. But yeah, I think people are going to be looking to that. I haven't really looked at the full schedule yet. I do know that Sailor is going to be playing against Earlmeister on the 20th. And I only know that because I'm part of Sailor's Discord. But it's kind of cool. It's like all the famous Lorcana people playing because they had to be voted in. So like Zan is playing Kendall, aka No I'm Not, Moyen, Kawa, other famous people I don't know. So I think it's cool to see the pros play, and then they're being like streamed by people who normally stream games. Like today was done by Wonderland and Teddy. I don't know who Teddy is. I don't recognize that name or the person. Wonderland was the one who won Seattle, and I recognize him because of his hair, because he has like that curly, long, partly white hair. It's like very distinct. And also because I always thought his name was like the Wonderland. I mean, maybe it is, but the two V's do make the W, which is like, why is a W called a W if it's two V's? I guess it's sometimes written as two U's. Anyway, tangent. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna keep watching that just to see different play lines. And then Brian and I are gonna practice both of our decks against different decks just to see if we can figure out any different play lines, especially for like my deck. It's very action based, right? So if they play like a Pete, I can't play my actions, which really puts like a hiccup into the deck because then my Robin Hood is kind of useless. I'm just questing and leaving him vulnerable, and then he discards 4 cards essentially. And then my Maui Shark won't get that 1 lore for you playing an action. So I figure like in general, they only have 4 Petes. So it's like 4 turns max if they happen to draw all their Petes, and then they're just playing Petes every turn. And then I'll just attack them with the Maui Shark or some other character, right? And then the only issue is if they play like purple steel and they start bouncing Petes, then I'm kind of screwed. So I got to kind of figure out something there. Otherwise, I like how this deck plays. I would say that it's very fun. It's also fun in terms of like how far your lore can swing in one turn. Okay, so let's say you quest with Robin Hood, right? That's +2. You pick an action. What if the action is Pirate's Life? I'm talking like max case scenario, right? So you do Pirate's Life, so you get another 2 lore. Your opponent loses 2 lore, right? So you're up 4, your opponent's down 2, so net +6. And then you play you came back, Robin Hood quest again. You get 2 more lore. So now you are +6, opponent's -2, you're net 8 positive. And then you get another Pirate's Life. That's another +2. So you are now +8, your opponent's -4. That's a net 12. And that's like, you still have probably 2 more ink to do something else. So it can get kind of crazy, and I like that. The only thing is Robin Hood dies so easily because he's a 1/4, so he can get Brawled, he can get Baby Seasuit, he can get Big Seasuit, he can get Medusa, which is why I think I really do need Sherwood Forest to give him Ward, and because he can move there for free. I mean, ideally I would want to play Fang because I love that card, and it would give him more invasive, but it costs 2 to move there, and then I don't want to play all the like other stuff you would need to move him cheaper, like Voyage or all the location stuff. I feel like then the deck gets too diversified into other things. Like you're not really an action deck anymore, trying to do all these other things, and I think that makes the deck overall weaker. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm still tweaking with the deck, still opening up more cards, more French cards. And I need to edit videos to put up. I don't think I'm going to do another video this week besides the podcast, just because I'm testing hardcore for Battle of the Bay. And next week, I will give you a recap on how Battle of the Bay went. I have very low expectations because I know very, 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 very good players are going to be there. And this is my little homebrew deck, which I don't know is even like meta competitive, but I have fun playing it, and that is the important thing. And I'm there to have fun. And because they have such good pricing support, I feel like even if I don't win, it's fine. Oh, the other thing, if you want to be part of part of Battle of the Bay, you can represent a local game store. They also said you could represent like a team. And so some people have asked me if they could represent Team Noninkables for Battle of the Bay, because I guess like the team with the highest points wins a trophy or something, like separate from the MVP trophy that the first place player wins. And so I am down for that. So I'm actually making some buttons. So like little badge button things for Team Noninkables. So if you want to be part of the Noninkables team, hit me up. I'll give you a button. I'm not sure, like, I was like, what else? I don't know what this means. Like, are these people like permanently on the team or just for this? I think so. It'll be part of Team Noninkables just for this competition, because I feel like if we're making people permanent members of the team, like more thought needs to go into this. And it has to be like a whole team discussion. But yeah, if you want to represent Team Noninkables for just the Battle of the Bay, let me know. Hit me up. I will give you a button. I think there's some part in the sign up when you sign up that they will have you like specify your team. And then, I mean, if you're helping represent Noninkables, and I can help you with cards that you need for Battle of the Bay, I will do my best. Some of your cards may be in French, but I will do my best. So yeah, let me know if you want to represent our team for Battle of the Bay. What else? I think that is it. This week is just going to be a ton of testing. Hopefully I can get this deck in a good spot, figure out what the lines are, invent the lines, I suppose. And like, I mean, the deck is green, red, right? So it has green. So I know that Brian had bought like a guide from Dale for green steel. So I'm just going to read that because at least the green part will help. And then we'll see how it goes. And so, yeah, that is it for me. Be on the lookout for more shorts of opening cards and such. And also next week, we'll talk about how it went. Oh, and then in the future, we are going to go to the North American Championships and hopefully compete in the last chance qualifiers, LCQ, last chance qualifiers, just for, I mean, might as well, for fun. And yeah, I'm excited. Depending on how, I feel like this Battle of the Bay is going to be the first time when like a big competition with many different decks to kind of like shake up the meta. So depending on how it goes, I may be playing this deck for that, or maybe we'll switch to a different deck. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that is it for me. And as always, keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of Noninkables like that. All right, bye.